We are starting our first local bundle orders for our little farm business that we do. If you saw my other videos, you probably saw where I planted all the broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage and where I started the big garden up in the field. So I'm going up there to pick it now. It's finally ready. So I used to do a farm stand, but my business partner who lived on the property where the farm stand was, which was a great location because it was a busy main road, well, he moved out of state, so now I can't do the farm stand anymore. But I didn't want to give up, so I decided to get creative this year and we're going to do pre-orders instead, and people are going to meet us in town and pick them up. And I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that that goes over well. So we'll find out this week with our first orders. That one can go a couple more days. We got some that are ready and some that will be ready in just a couple days. Everything's looking really well. Some animals have stolen some of the stuff. Nice and big. Cauliflower is getting close. I actually have to tie that one up with the leaves so that way the sun doesn't darken it. And all the peppers are looking good. Eggplant, squash, zucchini. Like, it's crazy how fast this stuff just starts taking off. You can see little baby zucchinis. Ooh, look at this one. This one's bigger. And the cabbage is starting to form a head too. There's some beans. I'll show you the corn real quick before I start picking broccoli. So we're actually in a really, really bad drought right now. I've been having to water everything by hand and I'm exhausted. But I mean, I have no other choice. I can't let the plants die. Let's go back to the broccoli. So yeah, it'll be a learning curve. It'll be different this year doing it the pre-order way. But like I said, I didn't want to give up. I had to get creative. And just because life throws you a challenge or something changes or gets difficult, don't just accept defeat and give up. Like, you got to keep going. You got to figure it out. Anything worthwhile in life doesn't come easily. And going through something difficult and trying difficult things is going to make you a stronger person. So just try to look at it in a positive light if you're faced with a challenge. Okay, so we're gonna see if these are strong enough to cut through the broccoli stalks. If not, I did bring a knife. We'll start with this one. Oh, and if you cut the head off, I recommend that you leave the stalk because little baby broccoli shoots will then grow out from it. I'm gonna need the knife. And then you can harvest and eat those. You won't get like another full head like this, but like I said, you'll get the little baby shoots. And then when you are finally done with the plant, technically you can eat the leaves. They're filled with nutrients. But if you don't want to do that, if you have animals like chickens, pigs, stuff like that, you can feed it to them and they would very much appreciate it. Nice and easy. Beautiful. And right there is where more little shoots will grow out, kind of like how they're doing right here. And fun fact, a lot of the nutrients are in the stalks. So even though they don't taste as good as this part, make sure you eat the whole thing. In our bundles this week, we're also gonna have local honey. We're gonna have some homemade pound cake that we're making and local strawberries. Oh, and air plants. And an air plant basically is, as the name suggests, a plant that just grows in the air. It does not need soil. They're pretty cool. I have tons of them. I have some that are starting to sprout little pups. They're really cool. Maybe I'll do a video on air plant care. If you're interested in that, give this video a like and a share. we'll be coming back to get these leaves for the chickens. And if you guys don't have your own garden, I highly recommend that you buy some local produce this season from a farmer in your area, because the local stuff, I say this all the time, it tastes so much better, but it's the truth, it really does. And it's also better for you because you're eating it fresh, so it hasn't lost all those nutrients yet. It hasn't been sitting on a shelf and handled by God knows how many people.
Pretty.
You scared me.
What?
Yeah. So in a couple days, the cauliflower will probably be ready. Here you can see I tied it to help protect it from the sun. And then I also have some orange varieties, which they seem to be more sensitive. This is actually my first year doing the orange, so I don't know if that's normal or what. And I have some purple ones, but they're a little bit behind, so they're not quite ready yet. But now we're gonna go back to the house and we're gonna wash these and put them in the fridge on some cool wet paper towels to keep them fresh and crisp until the customers get them, and then I'll show you the air plants. And there's a lot more to pick up there, but honestly, I can wait another day or two, let it get a little bit bigger. But these ones, I was afraid they would bolt if I left them up there any longer. And we don't want that. But yeah, check out my video on how to grow these, but basically, you plant them early in the spring, they like it cool, and you can plant them mid to late summer for a fall crop, depending on where you live. Sorry, I'm trying to do this all with one hand. They like a lot of nitrogen. Nitrogen is the first number on the fertilizer bag, and they also appreciate a lot of compost. Want to go see the air plants? Here they are. These are the big mother plants that I'm keeping myself to try to propagate. I have some in my lizard enclosure that are sprouting pups. They're really cool. But like I said, if you want to see a more in-depth video about air plants, go ahead and give this a like and a share, please. If we get, we'll start humble. If we get 100 likes, I will make an air plant care video. But here's the ones that are going out to customers. Here's one of mine that has pups on it. Pretty cool. You can see them right there. So yep, that's exciting. So yeah, stay tuned and I'll show you the rest of the order once we have it all together. Okay, so update. It's the same evening. I came back up to finish cleaning up these. Now, if you don't have animals you want to feed these leaves to, and if you don't want to cook up the leaves and eat them yourself, you can compost them. I forgot to mention that earlier. And then I also forgot to mention that it's really, really hazy because those fires in Canada is affecting us all the way here in Maryland, which is insane. And it's a code red air quality even here in our area. And then on this end over here, it's getting kind of dark. And I just heard a rumble of thunder. And I'm really, really, really hoping that we get some rain. But we'll see. It's been very breezy today, which is not good because the breeze is drying things out even more. It's just ridiculous. But it feels very strange out, very eerie. But being all the way up in this field and hearing thunder, now I'm not that worried about it because it seems pretty tame. But I mean, you never know. Mother Nature can just switch on you like that. But it's giving me flashbacks to last year when we had that freak tornado storm literally come out of nowhere. No warnings at all. Was not even reported on the weather app. And I'm actually going to make a full video about it with some footage from that day because it was so wild that it deserves its own episode. But just to tell you in brief, make a long story short, I was up here by myself picking tomatoes. Obviously, I could tell it was going to rain, and tomatoes will split and be ruined if they soak up too much water. So I was like freaking out trying to pick them really fast because I didn't want the rain to ruin them. I just thought it was going to be rain. And then, boom, out of nowhere, this freak storm comes, no warning. The first gust was so hard, it literally knocked me down. But I don't want to go into too much detail because, like I said, I'm going to make its own video with footage from that day. So stay tuned for that because you're not going to miss that one. It was really, really scary. really exciting because obviously I'm okay. So the video, when we go back over it again, will be exciting. But yeah, it was terrifying. And now every time there's a storm, I think about it. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I was up here and trees were literally coming down, and it did cross my mind. I was like, am I even gonna make it back to the house? Of course I did, but it was intense. I hear more thunder. Okay, I need to stop talking and just hurry up because I don't want to repeat last year's storm. But I had never felt wind that strong before. It was crazy. Look, here's an example of one that went to seed. It got too hot, so that's no good. I'll give it to the chickens. They'll be happy. So subscribe so you can catch that storm video once I finally get around to making it. Okay, the wind is picking up a little bit. I'm gonna give this to the chickens and then go inside because one, like I said, the air quality is a code red right now, and two, it looks like it might storm. I'll believe it when I see it because it's been so long since we've had rain, but we will see. Gotta be positive though, gotta hope for the best. Oh, and here's just another preview for that upcoming storm video I'm eventually gonna make. I had a very close encounter with lightning that evening, so it was very scary. Don't mess with Mother Nature because she can and she will humble you. Oh great, another rabbit. The chickens are probably very happy with this delivery. Chickens, your DoorDash is here. If I could open this. There we go. Mimosa, I'm sorry to do this to you, but you need to come out and eat and get some water before the storm comes. You can't sit in there all day. She's like, don't take me away from the eggs. She's doing her broody walk. Oh, and let me show you the fridge. Hi, monkey. So look at all that. That's all broccoli and cauliflower. And it goes all the way back there too. So yeah, it was a bit tricky fitting all that broccoli and cauliflower in the fridge, but we made it work. But it's just so cool to think about it. Like, I'm literally feeding people. I'm growing food, raising it from a seed or from a little baby plant, and raising it up, and people are gonna eat it and it's gonna nourish them. That's so cool to think about. And to think about how it came from just a tiny little seed and look at it now. It's food. It's food for people. That is so cool. Every year it just amazes me. Alright, so now that everything's picked and cleaned up and the chickens are watered, I'm going to go inside just in case it storms, but it looks like it's going to be a dry thunderstorm. But there's nothing we can do about that. Alright, it's the next day. So I ended up picking more broccoli and more cauliflower for the customers. And I had to go get some backup because I couldn't carry it all back in one crate. So I'm going back up to the field now. Okay, here we are. So I'm gonna leave these because we'll get little baby broccoli shoots off of all the spots where I cut. And then the cauliflower, I'm gonna just pull the whole plant up and take it to the chickens and let them eat it. Oh, and just a nice little tip for you. Make sure you check inside of here because earwigs love to hide inside of there. They won't hurt you, they're just gross, so just make sure you wash them before you eat them. Oh, and then I wanted to show you, there's the orange, it's not quite ready yet. The purple cauliflower has not started to form a head yet, but you can see it's getting close because it's starting to like curl up inside of here. And that means it's going to start to form the head when the leaves start to curl in like that. Okay, now to the chickens. Look how dead the lawn is already from the drought, and it's only the very beginning of June, first week of June. Now when I upload this, it's going to be slightly later. But at the time of filming this, it is early June and very dry. Ooh, gotta refill their water. They drank it all again. They're all trying to lay eggs. So Mimosa, that poofy one, she's very broody, which means she wants to be a mom and take care of babies and hatch some eggs. I don't have a rooster, so unfortunately for her, that's not going to happen. But you can see she's just waiting patiently for her to lay an egg so she can try to adopt it. It was so cute the other night. Mimosa was sitting on so many eggs, she couldn't fit them all under herself. Give them some privacy. Chickens like to lay their eggs in private. All right, so I'm going to, look at her. I'm going to take the broccoli and cauliflower inside, wash it, get it in the fridge. Oh, and I'll show you the local honey that we got. Look how good the potatoes look, by the way. It's so weird and hazy out today. All right, here's the honey, and then we will check back tomorrow when we finally do our orders. And we're adding these too. I propagated my hen and chick plant today. I thought they'd be really cute in the bundle. All right, check back tomorrow. All right, so it's the next day, and the air quality is actually even worse. So we're just out here real quick so Monkey can go potty and so I can go take care of the chickens. I'm home. We had our first sale with our local bundles, and it went really, really well. And it was hectic, so I actually forgot to film all the bundles once they were put together, but in this video you saw all the things that were going into it, so you get the idea. But everyone was so kind and happy, and they seemed so excited about it. They seemed like they were really going to enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to all the future ones. So make sure you stay tuned and follow along and see how the rest of our crops do and learn more so that you can grow your own too if you'd like. The atmosphere just feels so weird. It just feels eerie. This video does not even do it justice. Okay, I was gonna end the video yesterday, but then I just wanted to do a quick update today. So now, because of the wildfires in Canada and the smoke rolling all the way here, we are actually, instead of a code red like it was yesterday, it was upgraded to hazardous conditions. So I've been really trying to stay inside today, which wasn't too hard because I had to work at the store I managed today. So I stayed in there. And I mean, it's a small store, so it was a little bit stressful with the door opening and closing constantly for customers. But I mean, there's only so much you can do about that. But now I'm home, and obviously the animals need to be taken care of. So I'm bringing the chickens some more water. And like, I can't really describe it. It's just, it feels really weird out here. It's June, but it's cold. It's like there's a really cold, constant wind. And these cold nights and this wind and this dryness are not good for the plants at all. Look out, chickens. And someone that I know said that her chickens are dropping dead from the bad air quality. All of mine are fine. That's only one person I've heard say that so far, so maybe it's something unrelated. But I mean, it's also very possible because they do have fragile little lungs, but mine seem okay. If I do notice anyone doing poorly though, I guess we'll be going to the vet, but luckily everyone looks good. And then another thing I just wanted to bring up that I thought about the other night is, because you know, I'm always promoting grow your own stuff, and if you can't, buy local. So just keep in mind that there are going to be some people out there that aren't honest, like sellers that aren't being honest about what's local, and just do your research. Don't be afraid to ask some questions and make sure you're truly buying from and supporting and giving your money to someone who really is local. Because in, like, not that far away from me, and I know she's not the only one, but there's one person in particular that comes to mind. And she actually kind of got caught a couple years ago buying stuff from Walmart and reselling it, pretending it was hers. And one of the biggest giveaways was she was selling stuff that wasn't even in season for our area. Like, there's no physically possible way that stuff could have been ready at the time she was selling it. And the scary thing is, when people would ask her about that, she'd be like, oh yeah, we grew it. And then a lot of people called her out on that. Oh, and this is temporary, by the way. So I know they're looking big. This is very temporary. They go in here at night to sleep. I do have videos on that, by the way, if you're interested, because they're being introduced to the main flock. But at night, I put them in here for protection. But anyways, the lady got called out on it. And then she kept switching her story. And she was like, oh, well, I got it from this person. I got it from this person. And they were like, oh, well, they're not in season in that area either yet. So it's like if someone's constantly switching their stories, or if they can't answer your questions, or they're selling stuff that is not in season in your area, that's a dead giveaway. Now there are some places around here that are big sellers and promoters of local stuff, but obviously if they want to stay in business during the winter when we can't have those kinds of like fruits and vegetables and crops here in Maryland, but they still want to sell it, this place that I'm thinking of, they'll put a big sign out in front of their bins of produce saying where it came from. Like example, they'll have like a big thing of melons and it'll say in front of it, grown in Florida. And I really respect that because they're being honest with their consumer of where the stuff is really coming from. And then during the summer when they have their own crops, they'll display that it was from them. And that's how it should be done. So don't give your hard-earned money to someone who's going to be shady and sketchy about it and who's going to lie and pretend that they grew it, especially when it's something that you know was not physically possible for them to do. But the sad thing is, a lot of people don't really know much about farming or where their food comes from, so just educate yourself, because for every person that did question that lady that was being sketchy about it, there were plenty of people that believed it, and they would go up to her stand and they would buy some watermelons even though it was the beginning of March, and they would say, you know, oh, you grow the best watermelons, and she'd be like, thank you. And it's like, it's not that hard to just be honest. I'm heading back to the house now, but I'll show you how hazy it looks on the way. But like what really bothers me is like people that lie and are sketchy about it and that do it the wrong way. Like farming is not for the faint of heart. It takes so much literal blood, sweat, and tears. It's exhausting. It's tiring. You have to sacrifice a lot of free time, a lot of fun. You have to work on weekends. You have to work on holidays. It's draining mentally, financially sometimes, and physically. So when other people take the easy way out and they go to the store, because you can get cheap produce sometimes at Walmart or Aldi, but remember, you get what you pay for. It's not quality like the local stuff you'll get. But like for people to just go to a chain store like that and buy something that's not even fresh or local, and then take advantage of these people that wanted to support something local and take their money, it takes away from all the true farmers that really are trying to do it right and who really are putting in the work. And it's just so messed up. And then it's bad to the consumer too, because they're paying more money for a product that's not fresh, not local, not quality. Like, think about it. They're going to be eating that. Fresh stuff is so much healthier because it's not being all shipped around and sitting on the shelf and losing nutrients. Like, they want to pay for and eat something fresh because it's healthier. So by doing that, it's just wrong on so many levels. And I mean, I could go into more detail about this, and maybe I will one day in another video, because to me it's really, really important to just support true, real farmers. But that's a story for another time, because the air quality is bad. I want to get out of here. I want to go inside. It actually makes my throat hurt to be out here. Today you can actually smell the smoke. And this camera is not picking up the full effect of it, I guess, because the camera tries to like adjust and correct itself accordingly. It is hazy out here. It's orange. It's weird. I heard that like being outside today is the equivalent of smoking 6 cigarettes, and we don't want that. So I checked on everything. Everyone looks good. The plants are very dry. I'm very, very worried about that. But I can't spend hours watering them tonight with this air quality issue. So by tomorrow, definitely though, they're gonna need more water. We're in such a bad drought, and there was a slight chance of getting rain this weekend. Well, every time I look now, that chance of rain is dropping. So that's pretty scary. I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll do everything we can, obviously, but some things are gonna be out of our control. All we can do is hope for the best and try to stay positive in what looks like a kind of bleak situation for the plants, but what can you do? See, I'm gonna sign off. Just remember to grow your own food, support real local, and please pray for rain. We need it.